Welcome to the next episode of Scared Shitless. My name is Terzetto Homes and I'm your host. Today we are here with a very special guest, Yishi Pan, who I met, I think maybe 3-4 years ago now at a
Yeah,
real estate conference.
that's right.
Yishi is the founder of Terzetto Homes. And today we're going to talk about business involvement of his company, what it is, and we're going to also talk about obstacles and just really dive deep into what an entrepreneur does, but also how you scale, because now you've scaled quite a bit now from where you started. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
First, I just want to ask you to maybe yourself give us a little bit of a background about what your company is.
So our company is Terzetto Homes. We do design and build. We have interior designers, and we just our whole idea is to take a design and then just make it into reality. So
Okay.
take the pretty thing that's on paper and then turn it into something that's real.
Okay, so do you design anything? So I know we were just talking about you used to design kitchen, but nowadays, what is your biggest project, for example?
Right now we do whole house interior design, renovations. We do a mix of, we get into development thanks to you, and yeah, and some small renovation. We still do a lot of our bread and butter, which is how we started. I'll get to that, as kitchen, bathrooms. We still do a whole lot of that. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now.
Okay. So I want to jump into kind of getting to know you before your company,
Yeah.
because not everybody wakes up and says, hey, I want to have a design build company. So before that, what was your life like?
So before having starting a company, I was just doing a regular part-time on all the fast food restaurants before I met Vivian, which is my wife at the time, was my girlfriend. And then when I met her, she's like, you gotta go to school and just do something with your life. I was just playing games and just working it's like, no, you gotta
Do
do
something.
something, right?
Okay.
So that's how I started, because I didn't graduate from high school. I just went straight to part-time working job, skipping all my high school classes, and making enough to go by. Now she made me take a adult student test to take a program in Algonquin as an adult student,
Okay.
because I'm already at that time maybe 22.
Okay.
And so I did that, and then it was just math and English, just make sure you have basic literacy to take on programs. So once it's that, you just select your program, and I was just looking through the list of all the Algonquin college programs from A to Z. I really couldn't figure out what I really want to do. So my decision was to choose the least amount of time. So it's a 2-year program, and it started with letter A because I didn't know what to choose. So I just chose architect, the least amount of
That's crazy.
2 years. That's the first one on the list. So I chose that and then yeah, so I studied it for a year and a half. It's a 2-year program. So I studied 3 semesters, and then finally at the 3rd semester I couldn't continue because I was just barely scraping by, and I just couldn't continue. I told her that even if I do find a way to get the diploma, I'm not gonna do anything with it, because I didn't learn anything through it, right?
I see.
So she kind of gave up, and then she's like, okay, then we have to kind of find something to do.
Okay.
So that's how it wasn't really gonna be a construction business, but it was for sure gonna be a business.
That's
just to give herself a job.
That is insane, because now I've known you for a while, and I feel like your business is, well, I know your business is very well operated and you have all aspects of the business. So I would have never guessed that, first of all, that you were struggling in high school, that you had dropped out, and that you were just I don't know what to do. I'm going to pick this and then drop out. And one of the things that I hear a lot is that your partner is probably the biggest, choosing your partner is probably one of the biggest decisions that you're going to do, make in your life.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming she's now involved in a business, and I
Yeah.
know, I should say.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you say that, like, without her, where do you think you would be?
If I didn't meet her and then she pushed me through even the school phase, it for me is like without her push to try at least try to understand that that really wasn't for me. Like it was really, I would say I'm probably like by age 30, I was still gonna be playing games, video games. I was really addicted to it. Like
Okay.
that's my whole childhood was. I started skipping class since elementary school just to go to NetCaf just to play games.
That is crazy.
So I'm really addicted to it, and
Yeah.
then yeah. So I would say I can foresee myself was just wasting a lot of time, and then eventually I would come to realization, but it will
Yeah.
be a lot slower. That's for sure.
I see. When did you guys meet?
Met around like 22, 23. So my age, so that was 2012. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys had been together for a little bit for her to kind of like help you direct
Yeah.
your life.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And for you to listen,
Yeah.
right? Not everybody. Okay. Okay. Let's fast forward to the beginning of Terzetto Homes. It wasn't always what it is now.
No.
First of all, what did give you the idea to start such a company for kitchen design?
Yeah, so like I said, we were trying to find something to do. She was working at a restaurant, so she was thinking maybe like we'll open a restaurant. And then we're looking around, asking around friends that are doing really, really well. And then we had one friend out of our group that was that he was up in Ottawa, but he moved to Toronto, and then he was doing wholesale kitchen cabinets.
Okay.
So he had a warehouse, and then he was importing kitchen cabinets, like ready to assemble kitchen cabinets. He was selling those, and he was doing pretty good. And we talked to him, and he's like, "How about you just be my supplier here in Ottawa, right?" So that kind of is how it all came about. Before Terzetto, like our name was just our initial. Like my name is Yishi, and then her Chinese name starts with letter M, so we named ourselves MY Kitchens. That was like at the beginning of the brand is MY Kitchens because we were only gonna do kitchens, and it was going to not be custom kitchen. It was just going to be ready to assemble kitchens from him. And obviously, we didn't have any skills to run a business, to do kitchen designs, or even like have any construction experience. So he set us up in Toronto with a kitchen design studio that was doing fairly well. And so Vivian was there volunteering for 3 months, and then I was volunteering on site, kind of just learning through the process just to get an understanding of what is required, tools, the whole system, the whole process of what needs to get done to get it from start to completed. So we did it for 3 months voluntarily, just for pure experience. And then we're like, we can't do this forever, so we have a good enough understanding. So just we came back to Ottawa, and we just started trying to like promote ourselves and started the business. Yeah.
What was the hardest thing when you began this company?
Yeah, so at the beginning, like any business, is you have no track record. So just to get yourself to like the first client, like I remember it was 2 months. We were just like posting on forums, doing as little. We didn't know any real marketing skills at that time, so we were just doing what we can, just post, and then kind of friends helped out a little bit just to get you started, just to talk to like promote us. And yeah, so we took us a few months to get our first client, and then from there we just continue on, just trying to scale. Yeah.
And when you were starting out, obviously it was difficult to get your first client. So what was your stream of income at that point, if any? I don't know.
So there wasn't a whole lot. There were some savings because we've been working throughout the whole year, so there was a bit of savings, but there wasn't a whole lot. So it was basically just trying to get something going as soon as possible. The overhead wasn't crazy.
Okay.
The barrier of entry to construction, good thing is it's low.
Right.
Is you just, yeah, as long as you're able to get some clients to be able to trust you to do work, like that's
Okay.
all it is. But yeah.
Was Vivian working still at the restaurant at the time, or
No,
had
we
she
were
quit?
fully committed. Yeah.
You were fully
Yeah, we
committed.
were fully committed. Yeah.
That's crazy. And in terms of living situation, were you living at home, or are you guys living on your own?
So living situation where we already have a home. So we
Okay.
were living, we're living at home. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. It's interesting because there's two sides of the coin. Sometimes entrepreneurs, they're just like, I'm going all in, I'm quitting everything else. And in your case, it seemed like, well, there wasn't much of a choice.
Yeah.
And others, they're like, no, I need to stick to my 9 to 5 for like 5 to 10 years. I see some people never letting it go before they kind of like fully commit. So I tip my hat to you to just being like, okay, I'm gonna go all in because there's no other choice.
Yeah.
At which point did you decide, okay, let's diversify and do something else than just kitchens?
Yeah, so it was also not to our choice. It was what was coming. So we started with kitchens. 1 year in, we started getting requests on doing some. Oh, did we do some bathroom remodels? Can we do some basement renovations? And we didn't have any experience in that at the time. Right? We just first year into the business, but we're getting like these requests, and just kitchen itself doing ready assemble kitchen cabinet is not going to sustain. Like we've already foreseen it, so it kind of forced us to like, okay, we have to accept it and then kind of learn from there, right? So it's one project leading to a little bit more experience, and then you see the process, and then you learn how basement renovation looks like when you can kind of see that through, and just slowly just understand and get more and more understanding and knowledge in the renovation industry.
And what was your first hire when you wanted to grow?
It was about 2 years in, and it was interior designer slash kind of sales, mainly just helping Vivian a whole lot. And we always had our site construction because I'm not a hands-on person. So a site was always with sub-trades until we were about 3 years in. We were much more stable, and then we started having our full couple full-time crews, and that came in.
And when you started hiring people, this is just so that people understand business. Were you still able to? I know some people they make sure they're able to pay their employees, obviously.
Yeah.
But they pay themselves last. Like, how did that look for you?
Yeah.
In the business, in terms of like paying yourself and making sure that you're able to pay, to scale?
Yeah, we were never really like at the beginning, at least. Like I don't know if it was like we don't understand, but we just like we had to go all in, and then we had to hire out because we like construction for a lot of people, they probably come from a different story than us.
Right.
A lot of them were probably contractors, and they have the skill set to begin with, and then maybe they were working for another company, and then they just transition easily into taking on some clients that already like trust their work, and then they can just physically do it.
Right.
Like, we're
right.
coming different way. I can't physically do it. Vivian started designing, but like if you see her designs, like one of the first 2 years when she was the only designer, like she would never show anybody those designs at all. You know. So we quickly realized that like it's not our skill set. So it makes hire like almost like you have to hire it out. And obviously it makes running a business extremely harder at the beginning.
Of course.
Yeah, but the benefit of it, like now in hindsight, like fast forward till now, is it kind of forces they always say like work on the business, not in the business. But if it's from there, a lot of person will have a hard time transitioning out of it.
Yeah.
But then because we're forced the whole time, so for us, it was a lot easier to transition out of it because we were already there and we already. But just the building phase was a lot more long,
I get it.
harder, and then the pay yourself first never came to thought at all because it was always needing to like we need the resources, the people in order for it to create the stuff that we wanted to create.
It's I think it is true that if you don't have the skill set, it is easier for you to be the CEO because you can't even build anything
Yeah,
anyway,
that's
right?
right.
I remember when I first met you and you told me that you had like a design build company. And I think at first I thought more like kitchen renovation. So automatically I'm thinking you're with the hammer, you're the one, demolishing and all of that. And the first thing that you said is that I'm not handy at all. And in my mind, I'm like, how does that work?
Yeah.
I was like, you could do that. I didn't really understand the concept, but obviously, you're the mastermind and you hire who needs to be hired.
It's not like I didn't try. Like 3 years in, because like how we learn all these renovation from nothing is I had to be on site for the first like 5 years, right? So I was always hiring out sub trades, but I was always like working for free as a helper
Right.
the whole time. Like the whole first 5 years, basically it was just we had an interior designer, and then I was just always on site, just doing all the labor work. Just but
Okay.
like for me, it's like I order the material so I understand what is needed throughout the whole process. I understand price point, and also to me to physically see every single process, right? Like, okay, this is what you do on the roof, and this is what you do when you're framing. Like, I didn't need to physically, technically, like do the work,
Right.
and I tried, and then they were just like, "Don't touch anything. You're just making it like you're just like making us go back and do things, you know?" So,
That's
so
hilarious.
at some point, I was like, maybe I can learn it and I can take on a little bit myself, and then that quickly just kind of demolished that idea, right? So, then I was like, okay, I have to kind of rely on them forever, you know?
Well, I think also just understanding the process is good,
Yeah.
but without needing to do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because essentially that's what the manager or the CEO needs to do. Just understand, okay, what needs to be done first.
Yeah.
And I do think that's a very, very smart idea to be on site to see, well, not only the work of the people that you're hiring, right? Because if you're not handy yourself, how could you judge, somebody else's work, right? But at the same time, the next time that you have a renovation, you could say, okay, well, maybe the plumbing is going to take this long, and it, and I don't know, electrical is going to take this long, et cetera, et cetera. This shows how much I know about, construction. I'm learning a lot through our own, but that's really good. That's really good. For 5 years, you were trying to learn, I guess, to be handy, but at the same time, the process as well of like the renovations. Okay.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, Vivian, when you guys started hiring the design part, what was her role in the company?
She was just easily just transitioning to full sales. So from 2 years in, since as soon as we had an interior designer, her role was always just business development and sales, even till this day.
Okay.
Right? Just but in our industry, it's a little different. It's kind of sales is not closing. It's just building relationships and bringing kind of cultivating that relationship, and then the closing always comes to like once you have the designs in place, the designer just kind of presents it, and then like so like her job is very straightforward, but then obviously she takes on understanding like the financings part of it. She does that part and other business elements that is required.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, she's definitely taken on like the CEO
Yeah.
renaming part. Well, obviously with you.
That's right.
When you started this company, what did your family think?
Family was supportive, knowing at least we're trying to do something
Okay, good.
compared to
Video games.
Video games. So they were definitely supportive. Friends were surprised because all of my friends know that we have zero experience, and
Okay.
they didn't even know that we went to volunteer for 3 months, right? So for them, it's like you guys are nuts. This is like not just you can say that you can start a construction business and you just go into it, right?
Right.
But yeah, they were right. It definitely was like a hard road. 2 3 years in, like how tough it was when I started to have a little bit of thought into like real estate. It's like
Okay.
knowing that, okay, now like what can we do to like, to have like a little bit of pivot,
Right.
because like
Yes.
it's so hard, like being in a position where, yeah, you just have to start from nothing and then you have to learn everything. So I was not reading a lot of books about real estate investing, some house flipping, So like
Mm-hmm.
saying like, okay, what can we take it from here,
Right.
Like
Right.
at least we're already doing it, so we should be able to transition. But that was a really naive uh, thing to think at that time because
Okay.
building a business requires a lot more.
Right.
So it's not as easy as I thought it was. Just okay, I can easily transition to a flip, no problem. You gotta. The business keeps you there for a long time.
A hundred
Yeah,
percent.
yeah,
Walk me through your first flip. How was that like? What kind
yeah.
of mistakes did you make? And did you ever feel like I'm never gonna do a flip again?
So the flip overall went really well. Like there was a house that like they bought for the previous owner bought for 200 and sorry, it was about 500K, and then it was right before COVID. They left for vacation for like a whole half a year, and the pipe burst during winter, so the house was just completely flooded, and so we bought it for actually 20K less than what they bought like 2 years ago.
Wow, wow.
So in terms of like purchase, our first flip was really good, but that was during COVID time, and then that's also when our business had a huge challenge and struggle at that time,
Mm-hmm.
where like that flip made it didn't go so well because we're short in resources. And like the story is, as the beginning when COVID happened, we had like a shutdown, and every team that were working for us that were in a well-oiled machine before, all of a sudden we had like a 2 months break. And then
Mm.
when we came back, when we had a bunch of projects on the go, everybody started just to leave like all at the same time.
Wow.
So we went from having a pretty well staffed and everybody's like well oiled, well trained, and then we're just pushing through projects like one after another, all of a sudden into like we're just in panic mode and
Mm.
having no resources at all.
That's
And that
crazy.
comes back to because I wasn't hands-on, so I really relied on the team to stay together.
Yeah.
And that was when we like really reflected a lot on how it all happened, right? And it's
Mm.
like we came down to a few points of okay, we the reason why they left is because we didn't really build uh straight to the point is we didn't build anything that's worth for them to
To
stay,
stay. I
right?
get
And then
it.
that can be leadership, that can be miscommunication, that can be like the value we don't like share the same values, so
Mm.
all sorts of things, right? And they're not motivated. There's a lot of reflection during that time, but that's when the flip happened too. So like, we're trying to do the flip while we have no resources, and we're trying to hire a project manager just to quickly take on the role so we can get the ball rolling on our project.
Yes,
Not to
yeah.
mention the flip project. So the purchase was okay, but it dragged on way too long. And as you know, like flips, if you drag on too long,
Yes, it
then it
kills your
starts to
profit.
bleed into it, right? So
W- Are you doing anything different now to retain your staff
yeah,
in terms of, I don't know if it's like culture in the company, or
yeah.
what are you doing to retain the staff a little bit more?
Yeah, so we as soon as it happened, we realized that we weren't as successful as we thought we were.
Mm-hmm.
We were just really extremely lucky that we had our first hire designer, which is a rock star, and then we were lucky that people just came to us where they were like rock star at doing renovation, and then we kind of like just fulfilled their needs at that time, and everybody just kind of clicked.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just on paper. Everybody had the skill set to match each other, and everybody was doing it well. But we didn't really provide a solid foundation. So it was bound to break at some point, and I already felt it like the fifth year in, like 3-4 years in. I was like, it just feels like we're further apart for some reason. I knew it was gonna happen, but I didn't know when.
Okay.
And then just COVID happened, where there was like that lockdown, and that just like was the breaking point. Yeah.
Do you feel like, in hindsight, do you feel like it was a blessing in disguise in order to kind of find the right team, or are you still kind of like regretting some of the things that happened?
It was definitely, yeah, I would say blessing in disguise, and anything that happens is going to be a blessing in disguise,
Right.
Because it reveals what you never saw happen, right? So for us, it reveals all the issues that were there, but we weren't able to see. It's building a company culture, having a solid foundation, and a lot of the things that we implement today for open communication and the team to be able to all communicate with each other, like having our meetings and our talks, how we talk is all through that lesson, right? It's like, okay, that happened, and there is a lot that we needed to work on within ourselves to ensure that the people that work for us feels like it's a place worth staying. Right?
Yeah, and like they're satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay. At any point, did you ever feel like, okay, you know what? Let me just, I don't want to say go back to what I was doing before, because,
All the time.
video games.
Yeah.
But yeah, walk me through not necessarily your thought process, but along the way, did you ever think of quitting this?
All the time. That time was was probably like every single night. we would think that we should quit, and then we had very good reasons too, because we have real estate investors here too, right? So I was extremely lucky that during the lockdown, because we had that 2 months break, that was a time where I was thinking, my initial thought was okay, now we really need to dive deep into real estate, right? So we took on flips, and then we also had acquired a few apartment buildings out in East Coast in New Brunswick right before anything even started, because I had that downtime.
I see.
So that was, for me, was extremely lucky.
Right.
It was just more out of, nothing to do, and then this is time I can finally focusing on like what I learned through all these years, where I can't put into into work. Yeah. So we had on paper like a pretty good income through that already.
Okay.
And then having a bunch of challenges through the business, we were like, we really need to like put these on the table and see like what we're trying to do here, Not to mention, before COVID, right before COVID, because business was on the surface level was running well, so we imported a whole bunch of stuff at the same time.
So now you just have this material sitting there. Okay.
So we have a bunch like containers and containers worth of materials where it came here, and we're kind of stuck with it. We're trying to build a product brand, but then we're just stuck with too much that we can't even handle, right?
Yeah.
So we're really like balancing, like, okay, this is what we have versus this. We really should consider hard on what do we want to do. Do we just give up and then we'll take what's working and maybe move over there for a bit, so we stabilize a little bit better? But we talked to it, and then the logical decision financially was always that, but it's just so hard to give up it feels like it's a baby for like you worked for it for 5 years. And I thought about it a lot more, and yes, it's baby, but I think it's more like we didn't want to like think that there's just so much that we learn through it, and then if you just stop here, and then you just transition into that, then there is something that you would never find out, right?
Right. Yeah. 100%. A lot of times I hear that the failure is not when you're actually going through something hard, because that's when people quit.
Yeah.
The failure is when you quit.
Yeah.
But if you actually don't continue to implement what you've learned,
Yeah.
then that's where things, it's like, well, why did I do all of this
Yeah.
for, right?
Yeah.
Now you have all this knowledge. I would have done this differently.
Yeah.
But now you're not implementing it and you're going and doing something else.
Yeah.
And in all fairness, that something else is going to have some kind of difficulty as well,
Yeah.
right? And you're going to have to relearn and whatnot, even if it's a 9 to 5, right? Like
Yeah.
everything, you got to grow, you got to learn it before you actually master it. So kudos to you guys for sticking around. And because your company is great, I've used your company. I'm currently using it. So, and I know a couple of people that have spoken really highly of your company. So, good job.
Thank you. Yeah.
Where do you see your company in like 5 to 10 years?
5-10 years, we are definitely gonna be really active in new developments,
Okay.
and yeah, we're gonna be in custom homes, like all. That's kind of like the dream that we
Okay.
always had. My dream was obviously real estate, so it's more the developments, apartments, just building my own purpose builds. But I also realized that what we've built in terms of Terzetto is not necessarily that. It's more just design, like working with homeowners, making things pretty and nice. It's two different things, right?
Right, 100%.
So my journey is kind of like, now I'm just stepping aside and letting them create their own kind of idea, which is going to eventually evolve into custom homes, really, really beautiful houses. And I'm just gonna, my side quest is just new developments, right?
Okay.
On my own.
I mean, you
But
never
the
know.
resources is there, right? So it will combine together.
Yeah. I mean, if you have the vision, you can definitely get there, because you've had a vision before and you got, to somewhere along the way. And I know you have a daughter.
Yeah.
And right now, what do you see the benefits of having a child and being your own boss? Is there benefits, or do you feel like it's more challenging in terms of childcare and things like that?
I think I never was really prepared to be a parent, but now that I do have a daughter and a daughter on the way, I thought about it, and I think like having a business makes me feel like I can give her the opportunity to kind of explore, because business has so many dynamics to it, right? So there's going to be something that is going to be interest to them when you just put them in different departments and to be able to see. So that's kind of how I am comfortable having kids, because I think the biggest financial stress when you become a parent is thinking about the education, right? Like how you're gonna have the kids go to college, and the tuition is gonna be something that you gotta save up for, right? But me from coming from just high school and now to graduating and then having that, so I was like, I take that completely out. Like if they do well in school and then they can prove that they really like a certain program, then for sure we'll be supportive. But at the same time, I'm just taking it as like, okay, like there's always this thing that we've built that we can kind of figure out what the kid is interested in. Maybe they're into design, but maybe they're into finance, maybe they're into marketing, maybe they're good with sales. There's it covers every dynamic. And for us, that was kind of working on the business for such a long time, that we had to learn all these things one at another through a lot of tuitions. We didn't go to school for tuitions, but we paid a lot through learning it the hard way. Yeah. So yeah, now that it's here and we're still continue to learn and evolve. Which when they grow up, hopefully we can just use this as a platform to like let them find something that's interesting to them.
Yeah, I think definitely when you have your own company, you have a different perspective on life in general, right? And coming from your background, understanding that you can still be successful without, all the accolades, and because society quickly makes you feel like if you don't have XYZ in terms of education, in terms of a certain title in a job, then they look at you a certain way, right? But I think it's very important for a parent to understand that like that is not the goal. You can make something of yourself without any of what society tells you, right? And at the end of the day, it all depends on like how you feel about, are you satisfied in your business, right?
Yeah.
Like even if you were able to sustain a healthy lifestyle, and financially you're able to sustain, and you're free, right? You're free in a sense that you control your own time. I'm not saying you can fly off to China today because you have responsibilities in your business, but at the same time you can tell yourself, okay, you know what, I'm going to remove myself from site. You don't have to ask permission to anyone. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to come back. There's a lot more flexibility. And I think it's very important for when parents understand that, and they're not kind of like pushing a certain narrative on the child. And I think personally, I think entrepreneurs are very well placed to give their child more freedom. I also think like that with my kids. I'm like, you don't have to go to college if you don't want to. Although there's like that little part of you that's like, but you do need to do something, right? Well, kudos to you, and congratulations on your second daughter coming up. And your life is definitely going to change. It's going to be very, very different. If somebody wants to get to know more your business or about you, reach out to you, how can they do so?
So yeah, just email us at info@terzettohomes.com. Just anytime. Just mention you're coming from Yishi, and then we'll definitely help you guys out.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for coming all the way to Barrhaven. I'm not even sure where you're located.
I live in around Maryville,
Okay.
Costco area.
Not too far then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not too bad.
Well, thank you for coming on a Friday evening to be on a podcast. There you have it, Yishi Pan, and I'll put the caption on screen so that you guys can reach out to him. Very great company. I've used them. And thank you for watching this episode. As always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Yishi. He's a regular person who has grown this company. And this is the point of this podcast, to really interview regular people who just have the guts to go after something big. So thanks again. And for viewers, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.